Hey, this is Rick with Outdoor Emergencies at hikingemergencybeacon.com, and today I'm out here to compare the Garmin inReach Mini 2 versus the Spot X. But before I get into all that and tell you all the differences, please like, subscribe, share, and turn on notifications so you'll be alerted as soon as I put out new videos. Well, obviously there's some physical differences, so let's just compare this first. Size-wise, not even a comparison here. The Spot X is, well, I don't know, you tell me. It's way more than twice as big. It's, maybe 3 times larger. The thickness is about the same, but the width is maybe almost twice as wide, and then antenna to antenna, maybe it's twice. Weight-wise, it doesn't feel that different. But I'll have some specs on the screen here so you can see exactly the physical differences. One of the things I want to point out real quick is that the Garmin has global pole-to-pole satellite connectivity or coverage. The Spot X does not. There are gaps in the coverage, and I'm going to put a screenshot here so you can see where the gaps in the coverages are, and then there'll be a link in the description below. So they're updating it all the time, as probably maybe they're putting more satellites up, but there are gaps in the coverage on the Spot X. Well, let's go ahead and take a quick look at each one separately, and let's start with the Garmin. It's a small device. On the back here, this has a backpack tether, and this backpack tether part comes off. Actually, there's a snap on the bottom that keeps it from coming off. And here it goes. I was going the wrong way, but this backpack tether is great. It has this tether right here, and then it has Velcro, and so it's a great place to keep your Garmin or any satellite communicator that can attach this way, because it stays out of your way, but then if you drop it, then you won't lose it. So that's why I really like having the backpack tether. But on this Garmin inReach Mini 2, the power button is here on the top. Then there's an OK button here on, I guess it's your right. There's a back arrow here, and then the SOS on this side. You open this cover to press that for about 3 seconds, and the IERCC center will contact you and get rescue teams out to your area, and they'll confirm that it's an actual emergency. I've tested this several times, twice actually, and I'm going to put a link here that you'll see that for one of those videos, and then I'll have both of them down below in the description so you can see what it's like to talk to them and to message them and to actually test the SOS button or function. On your left, there is an up and a down arrow. Now this is how you get around on the device. This of course is not a touch screen, it's so small it wouldn't really help, but when you message or get weather, then that's what you do. And then navigation, track back, all that is all with these buttons. And the other thing here, there is, I guess it's a USB-C port right here, and that's where you would get in updates to the device, charge, and things like that. So it's pretty simple, and I already said the power button's on the top. This does have the spine adapter. I want to tell you real quick, the Garmin inReach Mini 2 does not come with the spine adapter. It comes with the adapter that you can attach, but you can either buy it, or you might try to actually call Garmin, and if you want to use the spine adapter, you ask them to send it to you. They may send it to you for free. So just check with them maybe before, take a little time to check with them before you actually go buy it. All right, that's the physical differences. The antenna is here on the top. You want to keep these things the antennas as pointed up, more vertical as possible. But that's really it with the Garmin inReach Mini 2. So you just slide this back on this connection here, and it snaps into place, and there it goes. It is out of my way. Now let's talk about the Spot X. The Spot X, now there was an original Spot X, and I still have that one, but this is a Spot X Bluetooth. So it can connect with your phone, and that's nice to have. But I originally thought maybe this had maps on it with the Bluetooth. It does not. So if you want to navigate and have maps, then you need to then use something else, a different device, or you can use some kind of trail app. So with the Spot X, you can see real tall antenna here, and the power button is here on your top right. And then you've got all these keys right here, and then on the bottom, there's a cover right here where it's a port to charge and to, I guess maybe if you need to get updates and things like that, and that closes. And there's nothing on this side here. Then, so on the front of this, you have the SOS cover here. If you open that, and right there, there's the SOS, depress it, and again, they'll come for you or they'll contact you. Now they're both two-way messengers, I forgot to say that. The Garmin, or the Spot Gen 3 and Gen 4 are one-way communicators. Both of these are two-way communicators. All right, so physically the buttons here, besides the SOS, there's a return arrow here or back arrow. There's the track, there's like a foot right here, and this is to start tracking. There's this button here in the middle, and that is to select. And then you've got all these keys down here. This is like the old Blackberries, and you can type it's pretty easy to type right here with these keys. And if you get used to doing it, it's really simple. One thing that somebody brought up one time, and I'm not sure about, but if you're in really cold temperatures, will these keys actually freeze up on you at all if they get wet, or the ice and all that? I don't have the answer to that. Something to keep in mind when you're considering these. I mean, this has buttons also, but they're covered with rubber or whatever it is they have. So I don't think the Garmin's are going to get anything inside of them. Now, if you have something like the Garmin GPS Map 67i, which also has buttons on it, then, again, I don't know the answer. Will it freeze up on you? I've never tested it in those kind of temperatures. Okay, so physically, those are the differences. And I already told you about the Spot does not have global pole-to-pole coverage. Then, one thing I will say, when you physically on this, when this moves around, that's one thing I don't like about the Spot here, how it connects. Yes, it's a carabiner and it's secure enough. It's not going to fall off. But preferably, now if you have trekking poles, I have a trekking pole strap right here, and if I'm carrying trekking poles, this doesn't work. But if I'm not carrying trekking poles, then I use this trekking pole strap to put around the Spot X so that it doesn't move, because if you're climbing over rocks and doing things, uneven ground, this will flop around on you, and I don't like that. So, you can get a strap of some sort. There's all kinds of strap for backpacks, and you can strap that down. So think about that when you go out. Okay, I'm going to run through each of these separately and look at everything that they offer, and then I'm going to have screenshots up. Now, I don't know how to do screenshots on the Spot X, so I'll have to turn the camera around when I get to that to show you. But on the Garmin here, I'll have screenshots. So we're at the home screen right here. And if you want to know how to do screenshots on the Spot, or the Garmin inReach Mini 2, you just hold down the OK button and the up arrow button at the same time for, probably about a second or two, and then it'll say screenshot. Okay, so we're just going to run through, several things here. I'm going to run through the messaging. The SOS we already talked about. If you hold that down, they'll contact you. But we're going to run through the messaging, the weather, navigation, track back, things like that. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. So you hit on the OK button to get to the next screen, and then here it says send message. Now, so let's just start with that. So if I hit send message, then it says next, type contact, and then it has Facebook, and you arrow on down. Now this is where you gotta be careful, not careful, just make sure you set things up in advance with the Garmin's, because I have my family in here and then a friend of mine. So put the people in here ahead of time that you want to contact. You can add them, and I want to add real quick that you can sync this with your smartphone, and then you can add those. You can message from that, and I'll show you that in just a second. But it's best if you put people in here that you're going to contact or may contact. Put them in ahead of time. So I've got several people in here, and these here are my kids. And then what you do is you just select them. You hit the OK, or the OK button here, and you arrow down and you select each person that you want to send a message to. So then you arrow back up to the top where it says Map Share, Facebook, and then it says Type Next Contact, and then Next. So you want to hit Next right here. Okay, so then it says Type Message. Now here's where you can arrow down, and there's these quick text. And it says, I found a great campsite. You have to see this place. I mean, give me a minute. Now I think I've got about 10 or 15 of these quick text messages in here, and these are great. Think about what you would want to say to people, either if you need to talk to somebody or somebody's contacting you and you need to respond. You may be in a difficult spot and you can't respond, so give me a minute's always a great one, or I'll contact you as soon as I can, something like that. But think about what you would likely say so you don't have to go type these messages out. But then you can go up to the top here and then pick a unique message if you want, or type a unique message. So under that type message, you select the OK button, and then there is all these letters and numbers that are on the left side of the screen. And then you can then arrow down and up and then select them, and then you can delete, you can put space bar, and then so as you start typing, then it'll autofill. So let me go and put something in here, just well, let's see if I type in around, just for the heck of it here, if it will autofill. So I'm going to type in A. Now see, it already says and. I don't need to go and do the around. I was just for some reason thinking about that, but it says and about. So then you can go over, and then you can then select the and, the about, whatever word it autofills, so you don't have to go type it all out. This makes it a lot easier to type out unique messages. All right, so that's how you do a message, and I really don't need to go into any more than that. If you want to see a more detailed, video on this Garmin inReach Mini 2 and everything it does, I have a playlist on this Mini 2, and I'll have a link to that right here, and then in the description below, and you can get all the information, because I break every single part of the Garmin inReach Mini 2 down from just a video only on navigation, only on messaging, only on weather, and track back, and everything there is to know about the Mini 2. Now maybe not everything there is to know, but that most people would use. I have that playlist, so check that out. So I'm going to get back out of this, and so in order to get back out of this, I have to arrow up to the delete or the trash icon. So when I hit that, then it says discard changes, no and yes. So I'm going to hit yes, and then it gets me back out to the type message. So I'm going to then hit the return arrow here. I'm going to get out of that, and I'm going to return all the way out. So now I'm back out to the main menu. So now I'm going to go down to, there's a check-in right here. Now I don't want to do the check-in. Well, I'm going to show you what it looks like real quick though. All right, so if you hit check-in, then there's check-in 1, 2, and I think 3. And again, these are things you customize and set up in your Explore.Garmin homepage. And I've got 1, 2, yeah, there's 3. I'm ending my trip. I'm starting my trip. So those are the 3, and there's only 3. So I'm going to get back out of that. Then down below that is start tracking. All right, so that's a great one here. Now you're going to pay for tracks depending on your subscription plan. If you have the safety, you don't get very many tracks. I mean, maybe 10 or something. If you have the recreation, I'm going to have a screenshot up of that. I want to say it's 40 on the recreation. There's messages and tracks. They both are combined as far as if as you use a track or you set a track or use a message, it goes against your plan, and then you pay for it after that. On the Expedition subscription plan, it's all unlimited as far as the tracking and the messaging. Now let me add real fast too that on the subscription plans, if you want to save money, you can go month to month and then suspend your account when you're not using it, and then reactivate it when you want to use it. So that's a great way to save money if you say you're only going to use it 2-3 times a year. Another thing to do though is if you're using it, maybe you have the annual plan, you can be on the safety plan And then when you go out and you want to have unlimited tracks and unlimited messaging, or maybe just the recreation plan, you can switch to that. And then for a month it'll be in that plan, and then you can switch back. So you can save money annually versus then the monthly plan. There's ways to save. Just check that out. And I've got information. I've got lots of videos, and I have one particular video about that. I'll put that in the description below, but it's a video about how to save money on the subscription plan. So we're not going to start tracking here, but I will say, if you want more detailed information and you want people to see where you're at with the map share, because this is with the Garmin's, I would just say, if you're going to go on a long trip, make sure the people you want to be able to contact have the map share link. They can see where you're at then, and also that is the only way for somebody without an inReach device to initiate a message to you first. I've been through this so many times, it's actually pretty irritating. I wish Garmin would change this a bit. But if you want somebody to be able to initiate a message to you first, make sure they have the map share link. Okay, under navigation, this is where I want to have a conversation about the syncing, to your Explorer app at the same time. So on your phone, if you have the Explorer app, then there's the Messenger app too. The Messenger app with the Mini 2 uses the Messenger app, I believe, for weather and for messaging. The Garmin GPS Map 67i also uses the Messenger app. Not every Garmin product can use the Messenger app. The Messenger app allows you to group message, and also then it'll automatically transfer service between, or use service from Wi-Fi cell service to satellite automatically without you doing anything. But remember, if you're wanting to use satellite and you don't have the cell service or Wi-Fi, you need to have a clear view of the sky. So the navigation part, when you go into the Explorer app, for some reason here it was wanting to do an update on the Explorer app and it wants me to sign in, but I'm outside of cell service. Definitely not in Wi-Fi, so I'm not able to, or it's going to take a little time, but I'm going to show you some screenshots. But what you do with the Explorer app is you can go in, and they have the topo maps and everything. It's real big because everything's shown on your screen, and in the top left corner is a plus icon, and you hit that plus, and on that plus icon then it'll allow you to create a course. And then it's simple to create a course, or you can access a course you've already created or a route that you've already created. And it's as simple as, you can look at a topo map or an aerial map, and then you can just touch the screen where you want to go. And then it will create this course. You can rename the course. And once you've created the course on the Explorer app, then you come back to the Mini 2, and then you can hit navigate. Now under navigate, it says right here, waypoints, track back, and then coordinates, sight and go, and then there's courses here at the bottom. Sight and go, well, sight and go uses there's a compass there. So this is not something I've tested really well, and I don't know how to do that good. But having a compass and then sighting and tracking to your point, and then using, if you have you're navigating, you have points and you're triangulating and all that. I really haven't messed with that much. But it's those courses. If you go down and click on course, then if I just created a course right there, it would automatically show up here, and then I would be able to navigate by it. So this is really nice, but you combine the navigation, or at least I do, with the Explorer app, and then sometimes I'll even navigate on my phone. Now this is all up to the person for individual preference. You may not want to use your phone, and sometimes on a long hike, backpacking trip, then I may just put my phone in a plastic bag, or keep it waterproofed, and then only get it out if I need it for some reason. But I don't want to have it exposed to the weather, all the elements, and plus the battery doesn't work or last as long. So how you combine these two with your smartphone and the Mini 2 is up to you. And I do a lot of day hikes, so I tend to just attach my Mini 2 here, and I'll pull my phone out and I'll look at it. I think it's more convenient because there's more information I can get from it. I can see the topo maps, I can see the weather more easily, and again, I've got information in those playlists. I already had a link to the playlist, but I'd break it down and show how you navigate, how you get weather message from the smartphone or from the device. So let's go ahead and get back out of here. And then let's go back up real quick to, I want to go to track back. Now here on track back, if I select that, this is where, now it's loading a course right now. In this particular case, I turned my device on here, so it's not going to track back to anything. So this is where you want to be careful. Always turn your device on at your vehicle where you start or at your tent, because at least it's going to put a hidden track down. So when you track back, then it'll take you back to your starting point. And then if you start tracking or you're navigating, then it's going to give you a lot more detail on your track, and you'll see exactly where you go. Now I have my activity recording on high detail, so it really nails down the course. But if you want to save tracks or save, you don't want to, there's a standard detail. So, there's a lot of different settings you can pick on this, and some of them cost money and some of them are free. All right, so we're gonna get back out of that. We're gonna go back to the main menu. There's mark waypoints and contacts. Then there's service plan, the inReach service plan. Now, the last thing I really want to talk about on this before I get to the SpotX is the weather. So the way to get to weather is to get back out all the way to the main menu. Then you hit the up and down arrow here to get to the weather. So if I were to, it doesn't matter which one, because you just cycle through. If I hit the down arrow, then it shows messages, and it says tracking is off, navigation, and weather. All right, so I want to go down to weather. Now, if you're navigating, this is one thing I had messed up before or didn't know how to do, is that when you navigate, sometimes the screen won't show anything. Like, I want to see the tracks, because this shows the tracks, it'll show the course. But the way you go then see navigation to see your map is to use those up and down arrows and then select on navigation. All right, let's go and do that real quick. I'm going to just hit on navigation and give you a screenshot. There's no course, I'm not following anything, so it doesn't have tracks and it doesn't have the course. It will show if I'm on or off course, so that's really nice. So we're gonna get back out of that. We're gonna go down to weather here, and then there's messages and check-in. But what I really want to show you is what the weather looks like here, because again, the weather on this smartphone is different. It's on the big screen, and it shows up different here. So let's go take a look at it. It says press OK to update forecast. And I guess I can do that real fast. I've got so many forecasts I've already done. I really don't need to do this. And you can change location and remove. Now, on the change location, I want to show you real quick. Now, this is something I don't know how to do on this Mini 2, and I don't think you can do. Because if you change location, you have to pick a waypoint, or you pick a course, or I think it's waypoints you pick. Now, when I had done this before, I was looking at the marine weather, and I think it was with the GPS map 67i, and you have to be out in a body of water. So I went out to the Gulf of Mexico, and I put a waypoint there so that I could get a weather forecast out there. So it shows up here, and I can select it. All right, so if I go up to new location, so there's my location, new location. So if I hit new location, it says video. Yeah, see, this is where it has video location, and it shows, I think, by how close you are to the waypoint. Dawson's Trail. And so again, they are either courses or waypoints. I really think they're actually waypoints. They are not courses, but you can't go pick on this device itself. You can't pick a new location. Now, if I need a location, this is where I'd get my smartphone out, and I would pick the location that way, or I'd get the weather that way. So if I wanted to do weather on my smartphone, and then I wanted to get a new location, then I could easily go to map and pick it. It's super easy, and that's why it's a lot easier to use the app sometimes than the device, but you have to have this to have the satellite connection. All right, I think that's pretty much it. If I haven't shown it already, there's going to be an image right here, or two, of what it looks like when you get the weather, because it shows every 2 hours. And then if you select on it, then it has, if you get the basic, it's like 3 days of weather. If you get the advanced, it's about 7 days. And then then you can select every 2 hours, and then it'll give you more information, more detail. Okay, that's enough of the Mini 2. Let's talk about the SpotX. X real quick. So they do some things that are similar and some things that are different. I just will say, you can't navigate with topo maps on the Spot X. Now you can navigate. If you have a waypoint, then you can navigate, but it's going to give you an arrow or, you know, and we'll run through this. But what I'm going to have to do here is I'm going to come back behind the camera and I'm going to show you this about how you do everything that I know to do on this, and then we'll wrap it up. But let's talk about this real fast so you can see it. Okay, this is going to be a little challenging, and I apologize because I got to get the sun hitting it just right to see the screen. It's a gray screen, or black and white. It's not black, it's not white, but it's like black and gray. So it can be a little challenging. But so you can see right there at the top, there's messages, create message, contacts, check-in, system settings, navigation, fetch messages, and track fetch interval. All right, so we're gonna go to messages real fast. So you hit this button here in the middle to select it, and then there's messages and predefined. Let's go to predefined real quick. Okay, love you. You know, am I supposed to say that out loud in front of people? Sure, I guess, why not? We'll check in again with you soon. Now this is a lot of times, that's for my wife, okay? Making camp for the night, the weather's getting bad. Now again, this is where you can set these up ahead of time. And if I were to do this right now, again, because I don't use the Spot X very much at all, because it's not, I mean, I just prefer the Garmin's. But then, I mean, even the ACR Bivy Stick and the Summer Global Hotspot, you know, and then there's the Zoleo. I like those better. Now you have to have those, you know, synced with your smartphone to see the maps and have all the features of it. But so anyway, there's the real quick messages that you have to set up ahead of time, and I'm not going to send them. But if I want to type in a message, I can hit enter here, and then I can go down and then I can type in a new message. There's a check-in message. I'm not going to send that. I'm going to go down here to that little icon, the pencil icon at the bottom. I'm going to select that, and now I can type in a message. So first of all, I would say to, who it's to, and then I would select that. Once I'm done with that, then I can go arrow down here and I can type in the message. And then here's where you use the keypad, okay? So it's real simple to type in a message. That's how you do that. I really don't need to go into any more than that, I don't think. If you have questions, you know, leave a comment below and ask the questions, because I'll respond. I'll come out and do some more tests if you want me to do that. And now so that's messages, create message. Now these are messages I've already done. Now here's going to be a brand new message. So if I go back here and I go to messages, these are messages or predefined. It's a little bit different, but it's the same thing when you want to create the message. You hit create message, and again you select to, and then you type in the message. And I'm not going to show you how to do all that because it's just as simple as using the keypad. All right, so then there's contacts. I can hit that. I can see all the contacts I have. Again, I'll always say, make sure you set these up ahead of time. Now that's a check-in message. It'll show where I'm at. And then see, people will be able to see where I'm at on a map, where I am. Now, I can't see a map here, but other people can see where I am. There's track and fetch intervals. Let's just see this real quick. The current track interval is 5 minutes. Fetch interval is off or manual. So if I hit this right here, see now I have the option to go 2.5 minutes, 10 minutes, 30 minutes, and up to 60 minutes. That's for low battery usage. All right, that's good to know. Now, then it's navigation. Now this is the one on the navigation. Now you can use compass here, and I'll show you real fast. Here's the compass, and then you can arrow over. It shows the distances, latitude, longitude, and all that. And if I want to then use waypoint, now this is where I can, if I've already put a waypoint down, and if I've done this, I got Badger Mountain, Chief Mountain, Legault Mountain Trail Test, and then I can add right here a waypoint. So if I click on that, then it's going to say current location, create waypoint. So let's just hit current location. Let's just do that. And it says obtaining GPS. Okay, this is where now you can type in the name. It just says, so I'm going to hit enter on the name, And let's go ahead and type in, I don't know if you can see it that well, but let's just say, well, let's just type in test. Or I could say Dawson's. This is what it is. Dawson's, Dawson, D-A, let me hold this with both hands to type this. D-A-W-S-O-N. I don't use this very much, but it's a keypad. It says just Dawson's Butte, so there's a space, and then we're gonna go Butte. Where's the B? B-U-T-T-E, Dawson's Butte. All right, then I can arrow over here, and then say done. So now it says name, Dawson's Butte, says location, elevation. All right, so that's, then if I wanted to navigate by that, let's see, so let me go back out. There's a create waypoint, current location, and did I even create that? So it's a new waypoint by location, but I'm not sure why I would really do that, because if I go over here create waypoint, which is probably what I'd want to do, since this is a place I do a bunch of videos at in the first place, let me just go do that. So I'm going to go do this again, and then I'm going to hit on enter, and then let's go do this one more time. Dawson's. All right, so then I'm going to hit done, enter, and then what happens here? And then they're saved. See, that's what I didn't do on the last one, where it says current location. I didn't hit save. So I'm gonna hit save right there. At least it looks like it's a save. Could add notes, and I think it saved it. Let's get back out and see if it then has it. And it doesn't show it. Anyway, this is why you come out and test. But that's how you do that. And you know, you come out, if you want to do this, just come out here. Make sure you know how to set your waypoints up and save them. And I've done it before, I just messed up there. My site's not about being perfect all the time. It's about getting out here, testing it, and being real as much as possible. So back under navigation, so there was waypoints, trip information. Now I'm not navigating, so I'm not getting the destination, distance to destination, heading, speed, elevation, course, and bearing. So let's get back, and then that was start. Right there, I'm gonna show you that real quick. Let me go back out. If I hit that, then it says start navigation right there, navigating. All right, I'm not gonna navigate, I just wanted to show you guys this. And then there's settings right here. So the GPS format, north reference, and calibrate compass. So those are all things you can do and when you navigate. But honestly, I don't like using it this way. I like more detail. I like to be able to see a map when I want it. And I want to see when my tracks are being laid down. And then I want to be able to see if I'm on or off course. So that's why I like the Garmin's a bit better. Sorry, Spot, but that's just the way it is. As I've been out here testing it, it's just my preference. If you want to system settings, there's data usage, language, distance, units, time, date, regulatory information, SpotX information, demo mode, display, sounds, factory reset, sounds, and security. All right, so those are the things you can do with the Spot, and it's not as powerful as the Garmin inReach Mini 2 or any of the Garmin products, in my opinion. Okay, so that's the basics of it. You've seen the physical features, you've seen what they do now, and I haven't covered it extensively. You know, I don't know that I have a SpotX playlist, and I'm not even gonna make that, because the SpotX is a great device if you want to be able to communicate and, you know, two-way message. And, you know, it was made by a company in Canada, I believe. In fact, I know that's the case. And I think the history of it is, you know, for people who are out working in the winter and things and snow plows and all that, they wanted to have a way of communicating, and it's great for that. The navigation part, I'm not as up on, or I don't like as well, because it just doesn't give you as much information. And I asked Spot one time when I called them, I said, are you going to add maps? And they said, you know, it would be good. They didn't know. You know, so hopefully they will sometime in the future, because that would make the SpotX a lot more powerful. Even if you can't see the maps on the device, it is Bluetooth, so if they can then have an app where you can see the map synced with, you know, with the SpotX, that would be great. So Spot, if anybody from Spot's listening to me, of course I know you guys all do, you know, that would be really a great piece of technology, or part of the technology that you could combine with the SpotX. So that's it. I mean, I've already told you, I've given it away. My favorite satellite communicators are the Garmin's. The ACR Bivy Stick is great. I do like it a lot. And the Zoleo I like. The Zoleo is a little bit bigger, and I don't like big satellite communicators. That's another negative for me about this. It tends to move around a lot, and I'd rather have the smaller device. Even the GPS Map 67i, which is the Garmin, one of their best products, it's bigger, about twice as big as this, but it still connects with the backpack tether, and so it stays up here. So again, it's a little larger, but it's still out of my way and it doesn't move around. And you know, I've got a lot more I could say and talk to you about these two. And if you have a Spot X or you want to get one, the most important thing is to be able to communicate. Call SOS and get help in a life-threatening situation. Maybe it's you, maybe it's somebody else, or you know, you need to message somebody and you're not life-threatening situation, but you might be. So the messaging and the SOS is by far the most important part, and that's what this channel is all built on here. Primarily is how you communicate and get help in a life-threatening situation. You can do that with both. So if you know, I think this is a little bit less money, the Spot X. I'm going to put this on the screen, how much currently the Spot X costs, and the Garmin inReach Mini 2. So just, you know, get a device and get something. I mean, if it's, you know, the Garmin or the Spot Gen 4, where it's only one-way messenger, but you can call for help. That's the most important thing that you need to do. And most every satellite communicator I have on my webpage all communicate. There's one I think I have that it doesn't. But that's what I like to do. This is what the site's about, is communication. So get something. If you need, that's what I did when I first started doing this and reviewing products. The Spot Gen 3 was my very first one because I was moving up here to Colorado and I didn't have hardly any money. I had 2 homes. We were trying to sell the one home, and I had an apartment up here. And so the Spot Gen 3 was on sale for $100 or $99, and it was normally $150. But then at that point, at least I had a way to communicate. So keep that in mind. It's you know, the navigation, you can find different ways to navigate. It's just nice when you have a satellite communicator that can communicate, call for SOS, but also can navigate and get weather. Those are just additional features that are really great to have. But again, that's it. If you got any questions, comments, tips, advice, I know I've got some subscribers that like the ACR better, and the ACR is a great device, and I'm going to start doing a more in-depth playlist on the ACR. But if you got any comments at all, leave them below, because I learn a lot from you guys. As I learn and I test more, and I'm out here in Colorado checking these things out and learning that, and then you guys give me advice and tips, I'm able to then learn myself more and then provide better information, better videos for you guys in the future, especially for people who are new and have never used a satellite communicator or satellite messenger. By the way, those are 2 different terms that are used interchangeably. The satellite communicator versus satellite messenger, same thing. All right, that's it. Thanks for joining me out here in Colorado, and I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. It's been a long video, but please like, subscribe, share, and turn on notifications so you'll be alerted as soon as I put out new videos. And if you'd like to support Hiking Emergency Beacon, there's a link in the description below. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next video.